Hi everyone, welcome to Unstoppable Entrepreneur Live Season 3. This season is all about becoming professionally famous online. I am so thrilled that you are tuning in either live or watching the replay of this. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Nicola Moras. And for the last 8 years, I've been using social media platforms, online marketing, websites, all of that type of thing to market myself online and help other people kind of like you get themselves out there. Morning, Catherine. So there's been a lot that I've learned over the last 8 years. There's been a lot of things that have changed. There have been a lot of things that haven't really changed as well. So one of the really massive things that I have seen, morning, Margaret, that I've seen happen over the last 8 years have been people coming and going and doing stuff and not doing stuff. And I guess really the big, morning, Jez, the big overarching issue that I see time and time again is that people are wondering why we should even have a presence online. They know that they logically need to, but they kind of, I guess one of the big things is around going, okay, well, why can't I just get somebody else to do that? Why can't I just get a social media manager to manage my stuff? Because I don't know about you, but I know for me, one of the most frustrating things some days is opening up my computer, going to my page, going, okay, what the heck am I going to say today? So coming up with ideas for content can be challenging. Coming up with ideas for stories, things to say, what does the moral of the story have to be? Is there a structure? Where do I pull all of these ideas from? So over the next 10 weeks, so over this season 3, what I really want to be sharing with you, and some of you may have seen the episode list of what we're going through over the next 10 weeks, but it's really around how you can strategically, right, become professionally famous online. So this is about you being seen as someone who has got a lot to contribute in your industry. Now, if you don't compare yourself to other people, but if you think about your market, you probably know more than 99% of the population based in your topic, based in your subject matter, okay? So that's a really big thing that I really strongly encourage you to recognize and to celebrate. So without any further ado, today's episode is called Show Up or Shut Up, right? So we're going we're getting straight in there. If you are not prepared at some point in time in the very near future to get out there online, to get yourself out there, to start sharing your voice, then you may as well pack up your online stuff and go and do something else, right? Go and build your business, build your profile through in-person networking, go and pound the pavement, go and build referral networks, go to BNI, go to Toastmasters, go and join other people's programs, go and do all of that. That's fine. It works. But if you have no intention of actually getting your face out there, then you need to just stop, right? Tools down, go away, go find something else to do, because, hey, Joe, the online world is kind of like expanding and shrinking all at the same time, right? It's a bit like, it's so much easier to get to the States these days. It's so much easier to travel. It's like the world has shrunk. So in order for you to have the kind of impact that you want, and I know that many of you want to have global impact, you want to have global reach, you want to have international businesses, you want people to be able to go and research you without you being in the room, all that kind of jazz. The thing is that it needs to be you. People need to see you. We want to see that you care. We want to see that you give a shit about what it is that you're talking about. We want to know, we want to be able to build rapport with you, right? So that when people land on your Facebook page or your LinkedIn profile or your Instagram or your website, they want to see that you are someone who is operating from a place of integrity, that you can really help people, that the stuff that you do works. But most importantly, if you look at your industry, it is probably expanding and growing on a daily basis. There are more and more competitors coming into the scene every single day. These bright young upstarts that all of a sudden are all over social media. We don't want to compete with them because I don't believe that we need to compete. But it's a bit like going to a GP. Like if you are a traditional Western-based medicine type person and you have an ailment, you can go to a doctor. You could probably also go to another doctor and you might get the same diagnosis from each of those 3 or 4 people that you go to, but there will be one of those probably that you will resonate with more. You will probably feel that one of them, morning Jess, you got to sleep in today. You might even feel that one of them is able to build rapport with you a little bit better than maybe one of the other ones. Maybe they're a little bit, morning Glam, maybe they're a little bit closer to your age. Maybe they're a little bit more like you in terms of their lifestyle or their demographic or whatever the case might be. There will be naturally people that you resonate with more than with others. That's the beauty of being human, right? So if you think about it, when people are looking at getting some help from people within the industry that you're in, then they will resonate with some and they won't with others. So your job is to help them come to that decision about you really as fast as humanly possible, right? So the next big question that comes up is like, okay, Nick, you know what? I'm sold. I'm going to get my face out there. I'm going to show up. I'm not going to shut up because life is too freaking short. So what is it that I need to do? I guess one of the other reasons that I'm so passionate about you showing up, particularly in video, you know, I've been banging on about that for a while. I want you there in video. I want you writing your own copy. I want you writing your own posts. You can't outsource, morning Sandy, you can't outsource your voice, your tone, your stories, or, you know, your physical presence online, because that would be really weird. I mean, you could get a stand-in double, but then the next time you turned up at an event, people would be like, that's a bit weird. Unless you had an identical twin, and maybe you could do that. But the big thing here is that one of the pitfalls around outsourcing, particularly around social media, is that so many people don't know how to measure it, right? They don't know what's working, what's not. They've just got all of this activity going up out there. And one of the reasons that they're outsourcing is because they're time poor. Yep. So I want you to be able to leverage your time. I want you to be able to leverage the effort, the energy, the focus, the money, everything that you are pouring into this online presence adventure. I want you to be able to leverage it. So over the next 10 weeks, we're going to be talking about all of that stuff too. So you can't outsource it because it needs to be you. So that kind of leads us up to the next thing. We know why it's important. The next part that I wanted to share with you today is what is it that you actually need to do in order for this to all work. All right. Now, the big thing here is I want you to be thinking about social media, and I'm going to use some very typical kind of corporate language here. I want you to think about some pillars of where you're being seen. Now, I believe that you need to have, from what I've seen and from what I've implemented and things like that, I've been doing this for a long time, you need at least 3 pillars when you're looking at leveraging yourself online. Now, we want to have your website. If you don't have a website, you need one. It is not negotiable. It does not need to be pretty. It doesn't need to be schmancy. You don't need to be spending 5, 10 grand, 45 grand. You don't need to be spending huge amounts of money on a website, but you need one. okay? The purpose of your website is to have somewhere for people to go to get to know you. So you need to have, within your website, you need to have a blog section where you are populating it with regular content. I know that that might sound a little bit obvious, but you can be writing, you could be putting up a video, you could be using audio. So if you're someone who really does not want to be on camera for whatever reason, then okay, cool, that's fine. We'll get you there eventually. But until that point, why not just turn on your phone? If you have a smartphone, you should have some voice memo functionality within there. Turn that shit on and start speaking, start recording. Now, you might do something like what I've done today. So you can see in here that it could be mirrored. So for today's, I've got the show notes for today. I've got the bullet points with making sure that I've got the things ready that I need to cover off today. So you can do something really similar. So the blogging, hey Gary, great to see you. So you've got to have a blog. You can write, you can video, you can audio. I'm happy with whatever, but it's got to be value-based content that either tells a story about what you've learned that's got a moral of the story, or you want to look at it as being a bit more of an educational type blog. So mine tend to be a mixture of those two things. So I usually have a story, and then I address the big problem. I give you guys often like maybe 2 or 3 action steps that you can undertake. And it's like, all right, off you go. So I actually had a look in YouTube yesterday. I think there's about 250 videos that are loaded up into YouTube, which doesn't really seem like a lot. For some, that seems like a lot. And I've got about another 250 to 300 loaded in Vimeo. So there is a lot of video content out there. The next thing that you need to have as part of your website, you want to have a praise page or a testimonials page where you can put a photo of someone with them giving you a bit of feedback about what you're doing, right? So a testimonials page. You've got to have on your website, when people get there, what is it that you are wanting them to do? So often what we can have is we can have the blogs, which is great, but we also want to capitalize on those eyeballs that are going onto your website. So you want to have something on there that you are giving away in exchange for a name and an email address. It has to be highly valuable. It's got to be really freaking great, right? Give your best stuff away for free because that's going to help them to get to know you. So they're the 3 main things that you need to have on your website. So that is one pillar that you have to have as part of this. You know what? I'm going to show up online because I know that I need to, because Nicola told me to, all right? The next platform that you have to have is Facebook. You've got to have a Facebook business page. Now, doesn't matter to me whether you're a career person and you're looking at growing a personal brand. It doesn't bother me if you are an entrepreneur, a business owner, a clinician, a massage therapist. I don't care. You need to have a Facebook business page. Why? Because Facebook is growing on a daily basis. There are some scaremongering stories that go out there that Facebook is dead or everybody's leaving in droves. Yeah. Also think about this. We've got the people who are on Instagram, for example, who are getting a bit older, who are looking for different things to watch. They're kind of like transitioning back over to Facebook. So then we've got the younger people kind of coming through, and then as they get older, they tend to be hanging out on Facebook, right? As well as having the profile. The younger people still have the profiles on there. So again, the majority of people are on Facebook. And whether you're selling to them or not, we need to provide them with another place for them to research you. All right? Again, we need to have regular content going up, which is a whole other story. Then you need to have at least one other pillar. Now, depending on who your audience is, you might choose Instagram, you might choose LinkedIn, you might choose Snapchat, although unless your audience is really young, you'll probably go Snapchat. I would really be focusing probably on choosing between LinkedIn or Instagram. That's your third main pillar. Then we've got Twitter that you want to have a bit of a presence on, but it's not a priority in my opinion. You still want to be on there though. So we've got your website, you've got your Facebook business page, and you've got your third option. So if you wanted to add a fourth, you definitely can. It is going to take time and energy in order for you to be able to show up and populate that with content. Are you guys with me? Is this making sense? Hey, Jacko. If you've got questions, make sure you leave them in here. I'll either respond live while we're on here, or I will answer them for you later. Okay, brilliant. If there's anything that comes up, let me know. Now, I know that for a lot of people, and I was actually talking to a lady last week who said, oh my gosh, I've really got to lift my game. And I said, hey, Katarina, nice to see you. She's like, oh my golly, I've got a lot that I need to do in order to lift my game. And most of us do. Most of us also say, and I was talking to another lady, Cara, a friend of mine yesterday, who said, you know what, I'll do this if it's what you tell me to do, but I'm only going to do it if it's going to generate a result. Which I think that no matter what you do, that is what you're looking for. So if you're results focused, some things that you're going to be able to measure, because we're all about the measuring, is what number of inquiries when you're talking to people, if you're asking them, hey, like, where have you found me? How did you come across me? What prompted you to find me? Was it a recommendation? Was it word of mouth, like physical word of mouth, or was it social media word of mouth? You can actually be asking the questions around, where did you find me? Now, for me, my biggest pool of people who come across me is on here, because I'm always on here. So that's that. The other thing that you can do in terms of being able to leverage and measure a result, I was talking to you earlier about having your website there and making sure that you're giving stuff away for free in exchange for an email address. Highly valuable content. It's got to be good content, and it has to be good, right? Highly valuable, solving a problem, giving people some steps, things to do. So the next thing that you can do is emulate that, like duplicate that in social media. So you can start to be building your email list. You can start to be collecting these names and emails and things like that. Now, the beautiful thing here is, even if you are a $20 million plus company, whether you're a startup, whether you're a career person, whether you're an entrepreneur, this process works, right? I don't believe in getting out there and verbal diarrheaing or typing on every platform just because you want to, or just because you think you should, or just because you think it'd be really nice to amass a whole bunch of followers. I want you to do it based on the fact that you're adding value, but then you're also getting something back. So ideally, we want to have these call to action things going out there in order to be able to build your list. Now, the final thing that I wanted to share with you guys today is around how you need to show up. Some people are definitely more have a predisposition to reading content. So you want to make sure on all of these platforms that you're writing. Now, all of your posts don't need to be writing text, and that type of thing, but you want to have some text posts going up. You want to have some writing on your website in order for people to read. Some other people are highly visual and need to see a video. Katarina, cool. You know, some people would rather sit and watch a video and watch and listen in that way versus reading. I'm much more of I just really want to quickly read the thing and, let's go type thing. So on your posts, you want to have some video. And again, that's going to keep Facebook super, super, super happy, as well as catering for those other learning modalities. and you also want to have some audio. So you want to have a way, the three main learning types are visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So that takes care of the people who are reading. It takes care of the people who are a little bit more auditory so that they can listen to what it is that you're saying. And then the third people, the kinesthetic people, have some downloads in there. Let them print off some worksheets. Let them do something, like send them an email that they can print off and put on their wall. Let them engage with you in a different way rather than just doing it in one blanket way. However, I know for many of you that you're just getting started in this online presence building stuff, right? So just pick something. Just pick one thing that you are going to focus on and that you are going to do for the next month and commit to that. And then maybe increase. So maybe for this next month, it's just about you practicing writing. If you find it easier to film and get on camera, then do that. If you find it easier to create an audio series, awesome, do that. But you need to start. You cannot put this off any longer, because the longer you put it off, the harder you're going to have to work, or the longer that the delay process is going to be in people finding you. So that is that for today. I wanted to make sure that you guys are getting some actionable steps. You can let me know if you feel like you have that. If you've got any questions, please make sure you type them in, and hopefully there's not going to be too much of a delay and I'll be able to answer them for you now. The call to action from me to you today is to make sure that you're getting these in your schedule, in your calendar. So we go live for this particular episode series, for this Becoming Professionally Famous online series, is every Tuesday at 11 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Next week, what we're going to be talking about is your marketing message. So making sure that you're really clear, like now that we know, we've made that commitment, all right, Nick, I'm showing up, I'm not shutting up because this is too damn important. We need to know and make sure that your message is matching the audience that you're trying to speak to and trying to build these relationships and conversations with. So that's what we're talking about next week at 11. We've also got Q&A Wednesday happening tomorrow. So as you're watching this, if you're watching the replay, you can make sure that you send me through your questions and I can always answer them for you tomorrow as well on our Q&A. That's at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Alrighty guys, well, I am really super grateful that you have come and hung out with me. I think one of the things that's really interesting is that we often get really concerned, maybe not we, me, sometimes I get a little bit concerned about, oh, you know what, I'm going to go and do this thing, and what if no one shows up? What if no one reacts? What if no one clicks likes or comments or whatever? Because I, probably like you, I love a bit of external validation, right? I love the high-fiving, and I've been doing this for a long time and I still really like that. So I know that that's something that's generally important, or that can be a bit of a fear for you guys too. So here's the thing. You could be putting these things out there for 12 months before you start to hit traction. I'm sorry, that's the reality of it. Sometimes it can be for a month, sometimes it can be for 3 months. If you've got a really big pool of money to put behind promoting this stuff that you're putting out there, then you'll find that you hit that kind of momentum and you'll get that engagement a lot faster. But what was really awesome, I was, oh, my phone's here. That's funny. One of the really interesting things that I saw, I retweeted it on Twitter, I think yesterday. I think it might have been Social Media Examiner or one of the other big social media guys in the States. Said, engagement is great, but leads are better. And I was like, oh yeah, I can't like that one enough. That is so totally that. It's all well and good to get that external validation, and it's all well and great to be building this up over a long period of time. But you can also, depending on what your circumstances are, you can kind of shorten that momentum curve or accelerate that momentum curve depending on what your resources look like. But first and foremost today, you need to show up or shut up. If you're not willing to get online, then pack up and go home and build your business another way, build your profile another way, and that is totally fine if that's what you want to do. This online profile building gig is not for everyone, and that is more than okay. A lot of the time though, like we've talked about today, it's more around confidence, knowing what to say, knowing what platforms to be on and things like that. So that's the thing, right? Show up or shut up. It's kind of fun. All right, Katerina, love it, and massive value in freebies, totally. Have a call to action and hit 3 platforms using video, audio, and writing. You're my hero. Oh, thanks. That's really awesome. Yeah, that's pretty much the summary for today. You've got to show up, get out there, because there are people who are going to resonate with you versus resonating with the person down the street or anybody else. All right, guys, the world needs to hear from you. We want to know that you care. Your audience needs to know that you care, that you're passionate, that you're excited, that you're motivated to help solve their problems. Otherwise, they're just going to go and tune into someone else. All right? Have an amazing Tuesday. My name is Nicola. I will catch you on the same station, same backwater, next Tuesday at 11 for clarity around your marketing message. All right, guys, have an awesome day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.